My serenity is completely shot after listening to that. Very provocative. Giving her number 3 speech, her number 5 speech, you are paying attention, from the Cabinet Communicator Manual. The focus of this speech is Your Body Speaks, and her speech is entitled The Economy and Why We Should Care. Suad Ali.
Friday afternoon, the last thing you want to hear about is the economy. I know it's lunchtime, you all have sacrificed your time to be here. Trust me on this, it's going to be fun. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. We all know the joke. When you ask 10 economists, what do they think about the economy? You get 20 answers. In today's economy, when you ask 10 economists, what do they think about the market? You get 40 answers. Therefore, I'm going to do 3 things because we all learn in 3s. I want to tell you what the economy is all about. I want to tell you how we got to where we got. And finally, I'm going to tell you what we need to do. Because I'm a positive person, I always have a solution. There are 3 key ingredients. Again, we learn in 3s. There are 3 key ingredients that drive the economy: capital, labor, and productivity. Capital is essentially money. To have a sound economy, you need tons of money. Labor, you need quality, you need high quality, good quantity labor market. Productivity, you need a highly productive society. The third component contributes 60% to the economy. So far so good, are we awake? Fantastic. Therefore, a lot of economists will say, oh, we're in a negative world, we're in a positive world, there's an inflation, there's a deflation, we're depressed, there's a recession. I have a question, how did we get there? We got there, there's a lot of argument out there with economists telling us how we got there. We got there because of unintended consequences. Things that we do as voters and policymakers that have good intention but bad economic outcomes. I will come back to that point. Over the last 50 years, through deliberate policies, the Western government has put us on a path on an economic decline, specifically by eroding capital, labor, and productivity. Let's look at capital. The policy that was put in place was housing for all. The government specifically wanted everyone to have access to housing. It's a noble thing. Everyone should have housing. Good intention. They did this through Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. They encouraged banks to lend to people who were not even credit worth. What were the bad economic outcomes? We all know what happened. We have massive deficit. We have huge debt levels. The banks were lending money to people who had part-time jobs at Starbucks selling coffee, getting a loan for $500,000. Let's look at labor. The policy that's put in place, the pension policy, and by the way, no one is talking about this because it's a Ponzi scheme. The pension policy, again, good intention. The idea was when people get old, we need pension. It was good because at the time the governments build up the policy on the demographics. What were the bad economic outcomes? We all know, like I said, it's a Ponzi scheme, but we all remember what happened to the coal industry, the steel industry, the airline industry, and the auto industry. They all went under because of the pension policy. Let's look at healthcare. Again, good intention. We want everyone to have healthcare. But if you cannot finance it, ladies and gentlemen, we have a problem. According to the McKinsey report, in the next 40 to 50 years, we will have over 100% of GDP cost associated with healthcare. Links to Alzheimer's, obesity, and diabetes. And our policymakers are not incentivized to deal with the structural problem. They're spending their time on tactical issues, how to stay alive. So why should you care? Why should I care? You should care as voters and citizens, the people that you're putting in office. Don't just vote for them because they look good and they sound good. Everyone looks good on television. Vote for them because of the unintended consequences. Am I going to have money in my pocket? Am I going to have a job? Am I going to be able to compete? Capital, labor, and productivity. Why do I care? I care about a lot of things. But why do I care about the economy? I'm from an emerging world. We look up to the West for leadership. We are at the bottom, and here's the West. And if the West is sliding, how low can we get? We're already at the bottom. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot of problems in the world economy. America is the first world. The economy has tanked. But I have hope because I have a solution. My solution is, I'm a big fan of democracy, but I also think policymakers should have a longer time in office to be able to deal with structural problems, for example, the pension, the healthcare, education. America is number 12 on college graduates. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a problem. They cannot compete, and they're number 1 in the world. There's the energy problem, there's the infrastructure. I travel the country sometimes, I feel like I'm in Africa because of the infrastructure. So those are structural problems that policymakers need to figure out how to deal with it instead of spending their time on tactical issues. Thank you very much.